Beautiful people, good morning. It is the gorilla, it is the cowboy himself, and we are rocking and rolling right here on Algo Factory Tech. You might think to yourself, hey, man, I've been watching these guys do their thing, breaking down markets, doing the fundamentals, doing the technicals. And you're probably wondering to yourself, should you join? Hell yes. There's very few exploits available for the average American as the wheels are falling off the economy. And this is one of those exploits. Look, I always tell people this: you can either stand at the Macy's perfume counter and try to sell fragrances. You can do OnlyFans, or you can come right here on Algo Factory Tech, learn how to develop algorithms, learn how to create proper trading strategies, and make a positive difference to your life, and by bringing in real income, taking advantage of the bubble that is in the market. Whether the market's up, whether the market's down, there's always money to be made. And look, this is a free session right here on YouTube. Okay, so take advantage of it by coming over to the live lab that we run every single day from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us over there. And with that being said, Cowboy, let's get into it.
Right. Just spreading that link around. Seeing some action this morning. We got a little news popping off on the euro. So I just had my eye on that for a trade. So I'm kind of not sure if I want to kick that in though, because there's more coming. Man, I should have. Jeez, dude. Ever since yesterday, since the Fed chair, all that stuff, the markets have had a lot more volatility in them. So of course, I'm looking for some breakouts right now. So there's a couple ways to trade. There's of course people who trade inside the range. They just trade all the pivots, and that's actually partially my personality. You have people who trade the breakouts. They look for something big to happen, and then they go ahead and catch onto that ride. I do both, and so I just kind of have my eye on that stuff right now as we were talking. So let me go back to earth, back to reality.
So Powell skipped, huh? Just like we said?
Yeah, Powell skipped. Skipped was priced in. I mean, I think that was not necessarily a big surprise to the market. A lot of people said it was priced in. I guess one way to look at how that works is look at the Dixie, the DXY, which is the dollar index. Okay, yep. So this is a beginner course, so we'll probably explain these things a little bit because we're just kind of talking shop right now, and it might seem like we're, maybe talking shop to a point where a new person might be a skip and it was Dixie, and what you guys talk about, because we skip Dixie, you know what I'm saying? Like, so we'll explain what all that stuff means. But basically, first thing we want to do is to let everybody know that all the things we say on this, on this podcast and on any other bit of our media, social media, videos, whatever, all of it is just for educational and entertainment purposes only. None of it is investment advice. Please consult and license. I can't talk today. Please consult a licensed investment advisor before putting your capital into the markets, because you can lose your money. Also, our opinions are ours and ours only, not representative of anybody else. All right, so with that, we want to talk about, and this has been kind of a big week for news. Okay, so now I don't trade news per se. I don't like enter a trade before the news happens, right? I'm primarily am a currency trader between cryptocurrency and between Forex, which is just like your typical fiat currencies, like the stuff we've been using, dollars, yen, euro, all that kind of stuff. And but I do also trade small caps from time to time. I don't generally trade indexes. I have. So the index would be like the Dow Jones or and they usually will have like an ETF based on the index, so you can go long on that, go short on that. That's those do exist, and I have traded them. There tend to be a lot of liquidity with those, which is really nice. So sometimes I kind of feel like, I should go trade those again, but you can only trade so many markets, which is why you build algos and you try to let them trade for you if you can have it properly refined. Okay. So when you're going to build an algo, though, what you have to do is you got to take a look at the entire scenario. You got to take a look at, before you go and pay somebody to code your algorithm, you actually have to make sure it works, because otherwise you're going to pay somebody 3 or 4 times, right? You want to, and what I do is I build them manually. I do it the old school way. I go look at the charts, I go back in time, I backtest, I build the algorithm slowly. I make sure that there is plenty of, legitimacy to it. And then, once I have a good idea that this algorithm will be profitable, then, that's where in the past I've looked at, okay, maybe I'll have somebody go ahead and program this. But I don't know. I like my fingers in the dirt when I'm kind of doing the garden. So I tend to trade manually. But that said, if you do have your algorithm coded, then you can actually go back test and do that automatically. It's different the way that works. It's there's some things to know about that, some nuances, but it's there, and we know people to do it, and we know people to do it for a fraction of the price where it would normally get done elsewhere. And also we are going to eventually kind of, well, I don't want to talk too much about what's coming in the future. We got some big things coming in the future with regard to that, though. We'll leave it there. Okay. So back to like Dixie and Skip and all that stuff. I think that when we flip over to the private session at the end of this half hour, right? So when this free YouTube is done, we have some, it's a special Thursday. I know you can't talk about what you're going to talk about here because we only talk about that in the Algo Factory, but essentially, we're going to have some items that are basically for the private members only. Won't even go on the main Rogue show. Is that correct?
100% correct.
So, if that's the case, then, I'm assuming that some of the news that we're going to see coming out today might be with regard to, the Fed funds rate, or perhaps, what's going on with the Fed, or maybe even what's going on with kind of like the globalist versus the nationalist and all that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
Okay. Because I know the last few days were pretty, we're pretty fraught with news. Even today we had some pretty big economic events come out. So, let's see here. As we're talking, I'm looking to find a trade here. I just want to get I have 2 machines working right now, and my actual trading machine I'm getting set up for a trade right now. You're looking at it right now. Well, you're not looking at anything. I haven't shared my screen, but the EUR USD, it looks like you might have some action here. So I'm just kind of getting that set up here. Having a tough technical morning, people. Having the machines not agree. All right, so that's done. Good. All right, let me go ahead and share screen, and we can take a look at sort of what happened with a little bit of news this morning, and I think there's more to come. So I don't think the news is quite done yet, per se. You had at 6:30, you had the USD, a lot of information, core retail sales, Empire State. And the net result of this is that the dollar looks a little bit bearish. 6:45 a.m. So I'm kind of reticent to mess with the ECB with the euro right now. I'm going to take a small trade on it. But basically there's more news coming for the euro, but that we already kind of know they're going to be a little bit more hawkish than the dollar overall. So that's, basically going to cause the euro to go up against the dollar. And so a decent trade might be something like, it's already kind of past the entry that I wanted, and it happened so quick, and I'm a pullback trader. I'm not typically somebody who's going to just trade the breakout. So if I were to enter a trade right now, I'll show you what it would look like. Probably back down to this breakout area. Maybe not exactly there. Let me see, what would my stop look like? Give me 1 second. This is basically it. I'm probably gonna set up a buy order here. but I'm not going to mess with it unless it comes back down. So give me just a moment to figure that out. Do a little bit of investigación. My Spanish, man, it's you know, I speak Spanish. I think you know that. But lately I've been watching Narcos Mexico. I don't know if you watched the Colombian Narcos, right? You didn't watch
Correct. No, I don't watch the Mexican spinoff.
Oh, dude, it's great. It's got some of the same characters too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's you know, that's something that you know, there is a character in there who's like a main character who, you know, there's a reason he's there and he's in both. Hold on one second. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to tight stop this thing. I might just have to, on these breakout trades, I might just have to play the breakout, man, because they go so quick. It's like hard to catch them. I might have to just avoid this trade for now, but let me see. I'm just going to take a small trade on this. The entry that I took is right as you see it on the screen, so it's going to be actually up a little bit here. And yeah, these breakouts, I'm just going to have to start taking at my original place where I was going to take the trade. It's still like a 3-to-1. It's a beautiful, well, that's if I keep this take profit. Let's see if I want to do that. Hold on. Not quite. It'll be like a 2-to-1. 1.3-to-1, which is acceptable. All right, so let me set that. Yeah. All right. Just had to take a quick trade. That's the hard part about doing these shows. Is that's right in the middle of trading. All right, so where we are in the market right now is we want to take a look at the Dixie, which is going to be the dollar. DXY is the dollar index. It's a comparison of the dollar to other currencies. Okay, so it's not like the dollar is like strong against gold or necessarily, or strong against other things. It's just that this is a comparison of the dollar to, like, say, the yen and the, you know, the euro and all these other currencies. Okay, and so right now it's headed down. So we had this massive move up from like 2021, and now we have price headed down, and it's consolidating in this area. And so let me see if I can look at actually a higher time frame than this. So that's the daily. So let's go to the monthly. So according to the monthly, yeah, I'm looking at a bearish scenario, but it's a bearish scenario that could flip. So on the monthly, what might happen with the Dixie? Now, while the dollar is bearish, that means assets are going to go up. Bitcoin, stocks, all that stuff. And it wouldn't surprise me terribly to see it act like this. Just kind of flounder, make its way down to maybe where I just put that arrow, which is going to be the Dixie at like just below, you know, 100. It's like 99.1, something like that. Now that, again, it might take a little time for that. It might happen a lot more quickly too. It actually might happen by, I'd say, the beginning of quarter 4. All right, so this timeline is not necessarily what we're looking at, but it's just an idea of how price might go. And then we'll refine that data just a little bit here using my fixed range tool. It might not be volume on this. That's the only problem. So yeah, there's a decent probability just based on like the order blocks and stuff. I'd say a consolidation, a move down to here. Now, when the Dixie gets down to the 618, okay, and it might happen sooner than what I drew on the chart here. But when it happens, now you're talking about, okay, is the dollar going to actually continue down, or is it going to bounce up? Or it might just bounce up a little bit and continue down. And what does that mean? I mean, like, are you trading dollars? Like, how do you make money off this, right? Well, the reality is that The Dixie, again, it's a measurement of the dollar against other currencies. And as the dollar is going down against other currencies, that means that your purchasing power is essentially going down in the States. And what that'll do is for the US stock market and for other assets like Bitcoin, crypto, all that, there's a good chance that those assets and everything will start going up. Okay, so for example, if this happens and see down at the 618, if it stops right there, right, that means stocks will be kind of going up until that time. And then if price bounces, maybe in like later this year, if the DXY starts going up, then the stocks are probably going to start going down, like most stocks, not all. And your cryptos in general will probably start going down at that time. I think cryptos actually are going to range for a while. That's another talk altogether. But this is the kind of stuff that I look at when it comes to like kind of the longer term, the higher time frame stuff. As I use the Dixie is a great indicator of kind of how things are going. Volatility is really low in markets right now, especially in crypto. And that's just a summertime thing. So, this is a kind of a time when if you're going to be a trader, such as I am, where you're in and out of trades, say, like within a day or like day trading or even swing trading, you got to be real careful when you choose your targets, right? So, so that's basically what's going on. And of course, we got the news this morning right here. We got the ECB press conference coming up. And again, it's expected to be hawkish. They've already had the policy statement. And I think the reality is that they're even worse shape than we are big time with their currency. I think that right now they're trying to keep up with us, because if you look in the top corner here on forexfactory.com, where the mouse is, you'll notice the central bank rates. There's a competition here, right? You have like the New Zealand dollar is actually on top. The USD has had at least a first or second position as far as rates being higher. And then the rest of the world is had to raise their rates to try to keep up with the dollar. And look where the euro is, way down here at the 4%, while the USD is at 5.25. So essentially what happens there when other currencies are below the dollar, that makes it harder for those countries to pay their debt, and also it hurts the exchange rate. So you're essentially like, if you push the rates up too many times, you start to light like money on fire. It's like money that other countries owe us is not payable, and then they have to print a bunch of money. So, and we've already seen the ECB had to print money to get themselves out of jams. In the reality, we're still printing money too. Even though we're supposed to be in like a quantitative tightening cycle, the reality is that where we're parking our money has caused us to pay interest rate that ends up causing inflation. So, everything that we have done so far with the fake money, all the machinery, all the machinations, however the hell you say that word, none of it's really fixing the main problem. It's like okay, so it's like there's a leak in the house, and instead of fixing the leak, they just keep putting more buckets, right? But eventually those buckets overflow, and then so they put more buckets under the buckets, and those buckets overflow, and they just never fix the leak, because it's cheaper not to fix the leak. It's cheaper just to put buckets and then to take that money that you would normally use to fix the leak and you pay rent. So, but the repairs keep getting more and more expensive. And
what could possibly go wrong?
What could go wrong? Yeah, another way to look at the entire picture is, the Jim Willie way of looking at things, which he's great. I don't agree with everything, but I think he's pretty smart on certain things for sure. And
cowboy.
I like when he
there's a lot of things going on.
When he gets incensed,
yeah,
when he just kind of loses it because he gets mad.
Yeah, God bless him.
That cracks me up when he does that. They're crazy. He just starts going off.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's like, they take the money and they light it on fire. Like he'll get.
That's really good, dude.
I haven't listened
really
to
good, Jim Willie.
I haven't listened to him in ages either. That's like from memory. Yeah. It's like, they got $2, and one of them We call it the Scheiß dollar. And Scheiß, it means shit, but in German, but we just, it also means trash, like detritus. And then they're going to have the dollar they use internationally. But for now, they're just piling shit on top of shit.
Oh my God, dude. That is perfect. That is perfect.
Jim Willie's great, man. I love it when he gets upset. It cracks me up.
Best. It's the best.
So, so at any rate, though, there's time before the system explodes, so to speak. So there's time that we have to make some money until that happens. And it's a big system. Everybody uses it. Even Janet Yellen came out like a few days ago saying that the dollar reserve is going to be, decreasing. The dollar's, status as a reserve currency is going to be falling. But in reality, I think that, in the meantime, I think some people think it's going to I've had people that's it's going to crash in 2019. It's going to crash. And we're still here in 2023. Like
a certain woman from Arizona who holds up charts and tells you that next Tuesday it's going to all come down.
Yeah. Zinette.
Yeah.
That's, it's, here's so there's a good comparison, over in Germany during the Weimar Republic. And it was Gammon who actually did a really good, version of this.
Yeah.
So what he
George
said
Gammon, he's the nice version of Gus.
Yeah, the nicer kind of Gus.
He sounds just like Gus. It's scary. He almost
pretty scary.
Like Gus.
He says a lot like Gus, and he actually is down there in Colombia too. So he's like Gus. He's moved down south where the beautiful women are, and they're not so spoiled as they are up here. They're
Sí, patrón.
What's that?
Sí, patrón.
Sí, patrón. Yeah. Plátano or plomo?
Plátano. Yeah, when you're the gorilla, that's what you tell your enemies. Plantains or lead.
You want the banana or you want lead?
Or you want lead. And it can go, it can be scary. I mean, you don't know what banana is referring to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you might want to be careful where you ask that question.
If I ask that in Castro Street in San Francisco, that means something completely different.
Ooh, platano.
Oh, yes, I'll take the platano. Yes, daddy, yes.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, that's the thing. You got to be careful where you say that one. So anyhow, I think there's plenty of time to, plenty of time being 3 years, 2 years, 5 years. I know 2025 is kind of a tricky time. I know there's the Kondratiev cycle seems to be some people think that's ending in 2025, and that's a soft look. Kondratiev cycle is basically an economic theory that just innovation cycles. So and this guy was he was an economist in Russia, and he actually was killed by Stalin because he went against the grain over there by saying that capitalism has ups and downs instead of capitalism, just being bad. So they put him in the gulag. Even though he's
how do you spell Kondratiev?
It depends where you look, but it's you can find it by Kondratiev. I'll put it right here on the screen.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, got it. Kondratieff. Kondratiev.
Or FF. It's a V or FF. It really depends on who you talk to, because remember it's.
You say tomato. Yes, it could also be Tiev. Right?
Yeah, because over in Russia they use Cyrillic, so it's going to be different.
Yes.
But that's that's a terrible resolution. Let's get rid of that nasty bit. Maybe this one. But yeah, it's an innovation cycle. So you have new tab. There we go. That's beautiful. Yeah, see, this is everything I'm reading is that it's going to go towards holistic health as the next cycle. So if you look here,
yeah, because if you notice, big pharma crap, nobody trusts that crap anymore.
Not anymore. They have lost their lost their trust. They certainly have.
Ever since the great pandemic, the mass experiment of 2020. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, see, here's the cycles, right? You got, say industrialization, 1800, and the way it works is there's actually four mini cycles. There's the invention of whatever it is. In our case, it was IT. So this was like in the early, like say the 1990s, maybe around whatever late 80s, early 90s. And then there's inflation. There's a lot of people making money, and then all of a sudden people start to make enough money to where they have a lot of money now, so their attitude towards work is kind of like maybe they're like, I have all this money, I don't have to work, I can just live off my investments, right? And then the productivity goes down. And then the third bit of the cycle is where you have this like false sort of financial boom where they financialize everything, and I think it's like where we are right now. And then and it's not what I'm talking about is not on the screen right now. Okay, so it's like I'm breaking down the cycles that you see. Like the little up down that you see is broken up into four. And so the third part is like kind of where we are now, where everything is just like they're just sucking the life out of everything by basically bilking the public through the financial game, right? Yeah. And then the last cycle is like a depression. And one of the problems that happens during that last cycle is that there tends to be a war. And according to one theorist, there tends to be actually two wars. There tends to be a war like at some point in the cycle that is not popular. And then there tends to be a war at the end of the cycle that is popular, right? So for example, in the early 2000s, we had Twin Towers go down, and then like pretty much everybody got together and put flags in front of their house, and we went ahead and like invaded the Middle East, right?
Because we're trying to fight them over there before we fight them here, cowboy.
Freedom isn't free.
Yeah, because you know like what? They hate us. They hate us.
Freedom costs about $1.05. This is a South Park reference. It's Team America World Police. All right, so we're kind of nearing the end of that cycle. So theoretically, we could go into a war that they kind of convince everybody to support, right? And that is kind of scary because how does that done? What is done with the propaganda machine to get everybody to support going into some massive war right now? Because I mean,
we gotta help Ukraine, man.
We gotta help Ukraine. No, that doesn't have enough support. They would have to be some kind of like.
What are you talking about? You go to like San Francisco, you go to like New York City. You got Ukrainian flags and pride flags all over the place, cowboy.
Yeah, you do. Here's the funny thing is like, most of the people that live in that area who are waving those flags, do you really think that ilk is going to do great if you give them like a gun and a parachute?
I was told that they are preparing an entire legion of the Rainbow Coalition, an entire legion, and they have the next generation stealth butt plugs, and they're ready to go to Ukraine. Why are you laughing?
Stealth.
It's fifth generation stealth butt plugs.
They're so quiet you never know when they get used.
They are ready to perform gender reassignment surgery right on the battlefield, cowboy.
All right, enough. I don't want any freaking problems with YouTube.
No, it's okay. We can say whatever the hell we want on YouTube nowadays, man.
Yeah, it's true. So before we hop off, because now it's time to go to the private group.
Oh, shit. Look at that. Time flies when you're having fun.
Time flies when you're having fun. Plus, it took me a minute to get started. I was trying to get that damn trade going. I just didn't have my trade station computer was actually giving me problems there. So I was just trying to make a little money, but whatever. It's fine. Sorry about that. So I think one thing we want to know about this cycle, though, is that we're headed, 2025. Some people think that, that this cycle has been predicted by all kinds of people doing all kinds of years. You got a lot of detractors. It's not very precise. This particular one that I've never seen before is actually using astrology.
Oh, which one is this?
This one here, it's I don't even know. It's let's see here. The astrological conductive cycle. It still shows what I wanted to show, like economically, but then they on the bottom they're putting what do you call it? The astrological signs. So that's kind of cool. I mean, here's the thing about it. Okay, whether you believe in astrology or not, the actual elites do. So what they're going to do is they're going to time their events with astrological moves. So whether or not you believe in astrology, whether or not it's real, it kind of doesn't matter because the elites are actually into that stuff. So I sent you privately on Telegram the URL for that.
Nice.
Let me see if I can actually visit the site here.
Can you tell me what's going on in the constellation of Cancer? Because it is my birthday in July.
Ah, that's right. You know, like the same age, so yeah, that's because I'm like a couple months after you. I don't know, dude. I mean, actually, there was a time when
Cowboy, if we can do this whole conjunctive cycle with astrological signs, you and I could become the new Maharishis of market, where traders will call us for their birthday readings on what to do on the market, and we give the traders, well, you know, because Mars is in Uranus, and you know, and the astrological signs are showing that Pluto is near Neptune, then the S&P 500 is going to go such and such. That's a game changer. We could be the Maharishis, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something right now.
We're thinking too small, Cowboy.
Dude, people make a lot of money using astrology while trading. That's no joke.
Oh, I know. That's what I said. It's like we're in the wrong business, man. We need to tweak it up a little more.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that can. There was a time when I knew a decent amount about that stuff, just like in part for that reason. But you know, I prefer the algos.
We can call our new algorithmic astrological trading system AstroGlide. What?
All right, dude.
What's so funny?
First of all, I know what that is because it's a joke. Why the fuck do you know what that is?
Because I know it's a joke as well. It's Pride Month, man. Lighten up.
Glide through the charts.
Our new trading algorithm called AstroGlide.
Oh, no.
A frictionless way to trade.
Oh no.
High liquidity.
Oh,
guaranteed.
Oh shit.
Oh god, I'm hurting.
I'm dying over here.
I think I pulled something.
Yeah, well, I bet you did.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, that's so funny.
Right.
Oh, dude.
I'll be giving my drip towards the end of the show.
Drip.
Forget I ruined it. I can't call it. No
you got Astroglide. You pulled something, and now you got drips.
Stop. Oh, gross.
What's going on, dude? What happened to the show?
I apologize to everybody. This is what happens.
That's actually very funny. That's hilarious. But yeah, that's I think it was J.P. Morgan who said that. What is it? Something about
that AstroGlide is lubrication, that everything else is just petroleum.
No, 495. It was to be a millionaire, you need like XYZ. You don't need astrology to be a millionaire. You need it to be a billionaire. I think that's what he said.
Ooh, yeah, makes sense.
That's James Pierpont Morgan. I'm pretty sure. Before we hop off,
we'll
verify that. Seriously though, the guy's a beast. Like him or not, hey, you think he's evil, whatever, that's fine. But the guy's a beast.
Yeah, he was. God, amazing. His rivalry with Rockefeller.
J.P. Morgan. All right, let's see if I got that right. Millionaires don't use astrology. Billionaires do. J.P. Morgan.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah, dude. And Reagan had an astrologer on freaking on call.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, dude, whether or not you think it's real, the elites do, and they use it. So the events that happen, especially economically, are going to be, they're going to go along astrology. So it's like, it makes 100% sense to actually use it.
Yep, real astrology, not the stuff you find on the local papers.
No. It's just, I'm a Virgo. Like, no, it's not about that. It's more about
the actual astral alignments.
Yeah, like your placements and all this whatever. I mean, those guys make like $150 an hour.
Yeah.
guys that do the readings. So that's just a bit.
We need to get one on staff.
Yeah, I mean we can do that. I know people, man. I know people. I know
the formerly deposed Miss Cleo. She's still in there.
Oh no.
Call me now.
You're never gonna be a millionaire. It's not in the cards. Oh man, that's good. Let's see. Where is this? All right. Well, we're gonna hop off Gorilla. We went a little over because we had a little too much fun here. But
hey, YouTube, listen. Join us in the live lab where we get into the nitty gritty. We get into the granularity of trading and technicals and how to construct and set up the algorithms and how to properly backtest it. In other words, we teach you how to fish, damn it, so you can eat for a lifetime. Join us over there. Don't be a puss. Don't sit around on the wall wondering, should you not? It's not coulda, woulda. Hope is not a strategy. Join us. Make it happen. AlgoFactory.tech. Cowboy, take us out.